You know, I still get chills thinking about that morning outside the courthouse, fiddling with my tie, trying to steady my hands. My wife Mia, 7 months pregnant and stubborn as hell, squeezed my fingers like she was the one protecting me, not the other way around. We were both wondering how in the world a dumb neighborhood squabble spiraled into this nightmare, one that nearly ripped apart everything we were building. Let me tell you, if you've never watched your life unravel because of a petty, power-drunk neighbor, count yourself lucky. Willow Creek Meadows was supposed to be the dream. Quiet streets, friendly faces, a backyard big enough for barbecues, and the swing set I promised Mia I'd build before the baby came. We were the youngest couple on our block, a pair of brown faces in a sea of white, but mostly people smiled and waved. Except for Brenda Hargrove, our across-the-street HOA queen bee, 55, crisp bob, pearls and pressed pants even on trash day, and a scowl that could cut glass. From day one, she made it her mission to remind us we didn't quite belong. Maybe it was our name, maybe our playlist at weekend cookouts, or maybe it was just the way we laughed, too loud, too long, too unfiltered for her taste. Brenda ran the HOA like it was the White House, wielding the bylaws like a bat. She stalked the sidewalk with a tape measure, hunting for grass half an inch too tall, clocking cars like a traffic cop with nowhere better to be. The worst part wasn't even the rules themselves. It was the way she weaponized them, dropping fines and nasty little notes in our mailbox whenever she needed to remind us who was boss. "Your flower beds are too garish," one letter said, because Mia planted bright yellow daisies and neon tulips instead of Brenda's beloved, tasteful pastels. "Please adhere to community standards or face penalties." The way she'd sign her name, all looping, fancy cursive, made me want to rip the paper in half at first. I tried to laugh it off, kept my head down, swept the walk, smiled for the neighbors. But I started keeping a folder. Every letter, every fine, every time I caught Brenda peering through her blinds, scribbling in her little notebook. Evidence wins wars, not shouting, and I knew better than to stoop to her level. Even when I found Mia crying in the kitchen, hugging her belly, whispering, "Why us, Alex?" like she'd done something wrong just by existing here, but IT got ugly fast. Brenda started reporting us for excessive deliveries when baby gear showed up at our door, or because Mia's maternity dresses were inappropriate when she fetched the mail. She even called out the way our family visited too often, like love was some kind of code violation. Underneath it all was a current of something nastier than just nitpicking. That sticky, sour fear that people like us would change her precious neighborhood. Then, when Mia hit 6 months, her doctor put her on bed rest. High blood pressure, scary numbers, the kind of thing where the wrong stress could wreck everything. You'd think a little compassion might kick in, right? Instead, Brenda doubled down. 15 violations in a single week. Newspapers left on the porch because Mia couldn't bend to pick them up. Grass shaggy because I was inside, cooking and cleaning. Even the medical truck dropping off home monitors was apparently a disturbance to the peace. That was the day I lost it, called Brenda, my voice shaking. "Enough. You're putting my wife's health at risk. Have some humanity." And she just coolly replied, "Rules don't bend for personal choices. Maybe you'd be happier somewhere, more fitting." The way she said it, with that little pause, that loaded look, I could hear the racism loud and clear, even if she never used the word. That night, Mia had a panic attack. Her blood pressure spiked. We ended up in the ER at midnight, machines beeping, doctors whispering. "Any more stress, and you could lose both." They warned me, as if I didn't already know. That was when the switch flipped for me. I saw Brenda for what she was, not just a petty tyrant, but a danger, hiding her hate behind community standards. No more letting her run my family off the road. I started gathering stories from the neighbors. The Pattersons fined thousands for bird feeders or chalk drawings their grandkids made. The Lopezes, who had their car towed during a family gathering. Over-occupancy, Brenda claimed, but it was always the Brown families who got the warnings, while the Smiths, whose RV lived on the curb for months, never heard a peep. The deeper I dug, the uglier it got. Leaked emails about preserving community character, about demographic balance. Brenda wasn't just enforcing rules, She was keeping out anyone who didn't fit her fantasy. So I did what I do best. Filed a lawsuit. Harassment, discrimination, emotional distress, fair housing violations, the whole kitchen sink. I kept my job as a superior court judge under wraps. Didn't want the case to get messy or for anyone to think I was pulling rank. Brenda, predictably, lawyered up and countersued. But discovery unearthed everything. The emails, the patterns, the way she'd targeted us and others to keep the neighborhood just the way she liked it. The trial was chaos. Mia, 8 months pregnant and radiant in spite of everything, insisted on coming. Brenda waltzed in, chin high, whispering to her lawyer about complainers who can't respect standards. Our lawyer, Lisa, laid out the case. Not just our story, but the Pattersons, the Lopezes, the chalk, the fines, the emails with their ugly language. Brenda's defense fell apart quick. Then Lisa asked her, on the stand, why she'd hit us with 15 violations in 1 week, but never cited the Smiths. Brenda actually said, they respect what we've built. We can't let people like them breed and ruin everything. The room froze. Mia started crying. Brenda doubled down, yelling, Your Honor, I demand the death penalty for her repeated violations. Execute her as a warning. I mean, can you even believe that? She was so far gone she didn't realize she was shouting for the death penalty in front of a judge for breaking HOA rules. That's when I stood up. My turn to speak. Calm but loud enough for every soul in the room to hear. Actually, Your Honor, as Judge Alex Ramirez, I can attest to the severity here. Brenda's face went white as a ghost. The judge slammed down her verdict. $1.5 million in damages for us. Brenda stripped of HOA power, banned forever, and a hate crime probe to boot. The news went wild. HOA tyrant calls for execution of pregnant woman. Brenda lost her job, her marriage, her reputation. Other neighbors joined in a class action that bankrupted her. She left town with nothing, her name poisoned wherever she went. And 3 months later, our daughter Sophia Grace was born, healthy, beautiful, the whole neighborhood showing up with casseroles and flowers, even the Smiths apologizing for staying quiet all those years. The old HOA rules vanished, replaced by block parties, a garden in Brenda's old yard, laughter echoing down every street. Property values soared, families of every color moved in, and our little girl grew up surrounded by the kind of love Brenda tried so hard to squash. But sometimes, when I watch Sophie running with the neighbors' kids, I wonder, did I wait too long to act? If I'd outed myself as a judge sooner, could I have stopped Brenda before she hurt so many? Or did her unmasking, ugly as it was, finally force everyone to see what needed changing? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever faced a bully with too much power? Or seen justice swing the other way? Drop a comment, share your story. Let's talk about what real community looks like and how to make sure we never let hate call the shots again.